So do you think your gut could actually cause your mood swings and anxiety or make emotional issues worse? Well, the answer is yes. Your gut, the way your gut behaves, can have a huge impact on your emotional symptoms in the perimenopause and the menopause. So today I'm going to talk about how this can happen and what you can do to help yourself. So the main causes, we have something called the gut-brain axis. Now this is what's called a biodirectional pathways, which means how you feel affects your gut. So we know all about that. You know, if you're going to the dentist, if you're flying, if you're really scared of something, the minute you have that scared thought, you can feel your gut clenching up. But your gut also has a direct link into how your brain functions as well. So this axis, if you like, this pathway going back and forwards, also pulls in your nervous system, your immune system, and your endocrine system, which is basically your hormonal system. And this is why, you know, how we feel can have an impact on other areas of our health and not just our hormones too. So when we're going through the perimenopause, the hormonal changes can impact the digestion. And I've talked about this on numerous occasions. So as your estrogen and progesterone falls, it can slow things down much more. So that can then have an impact on how your gut functions generally. Also, what happens is that we have what's called the microbiome, and this is becoming more and more people are understanding about what's called the microbiome. So this is our friendly bacteria in the gut. We have trillions of them all surviving in our gut, and also other microorganisms as well. And these all work together. So the good ones all work together for our overall health, in our mental health, our physical health, our hormonal health. So you can see how all of these things are interconnected at a very, very simple level. So if our microbiome starts to change in some way, and very often the hormonal changes will impact the friendly bacteria. If our gut starts to slow down, if we start to get things like bloating and constipation, then the number and the variety of these friendly bacteria and microorganisms can decrease, and that will have an impact on our gut-brain axis as well. So you can see sometimes even something really simple. So it could be something like taking a course of antibiotics. It could be having IBS. It could be just having diarrhea, one episode of diarrhea, one episode of food poisoning. And you may find after that, it affects the gut, and that can affect your mood too. And it's not something we tend to connect. You know, you might find you haven't been particularly well and then wonder why, even if you're back on your feet, that your mood and your emotional issues are much more pronounced, or you feel that little bit lower as well. Other thing is just diet in general. So if you are having a not particularly healthy diet, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, high salt and sugar foods, lots of caffeine, fizzy drinks, alcohol, maybe a high fat diet as well, these will all impact on your friendly bacteria and how well your gut manages everything. And also if you're less active, so if your hormones are changing, if you're feeling tired, if you're a bit run down, if you've got joint aches and pains, you're going to be less active. And being active is a real tonic. That the minute you start moving, you're actually massaging the whole of the digestive tract, which keeps your elimination and everything moving much better. So you're going to have a much more positive impact on the friendly bacteria by being active. So how can you manage your gut? Really, one of the most important things to keep all our friendly bacteria and our gut healthy is to look at what's called prebiotics and probiotics. Now, a prebiotic is something that helps to feed and support your friendly bacteria. So I can liken the gut a bit to a garden. So if you want beautiful flowers to come from the seeds, you need to fertilize and till the soil, if you like. So a prebiotic is helping to create the right environment in the gut and to provide food for the friendly bacteria. So your friendly bacteria are your probiotics. So if you find your gut's a little bit all over the place, or if you want to just try and see if you can improve things, then you go with a prebiotic first to get everything ready, and then you go by a probiotic. Prebiotics are things like your fermented foods. So that would be things like your sauerkraut. You can have things like, if you've got fermented tofu, things like tempeh, miso, these can all be really helpful. We've also got our molkazan fruit, which is made from fermented whey. You would then introduce a probiotic, just a general one. You don't need to go overboard, but if you look for just a general, maybe 1 a day probiotic, and take that. And I normally recommend, if you find you improve things, that you just take a course of probiotics maybe once every 6 months, just to keep everything working tip top. You can look at what's called bitter herbs. Bitter herbs are great for the digestion. So that would be things like the herb yarrow as well. You're looking at a good balanced diet. And remember, last week I talked about the type of diet that you can build for yourself. So you're looking at things like plenty of fiber, foods like vegetables, a little bit of fruit, and also add in your fermented foods as well. Regular exercise. Remember that exercising helps to massage and keep your gut healthy and working well, because elimination is really important. If you get constipated, that's going to affect your friendly bacteria as well. And also, if we're outside in nature, there's so much research looking at how being in nature lifts our mood anyway and just makes us feel that much better. So even getting out once or twice a week just for a walk in the fresh air can be really helpful. Stress management, obviously, so that would be things like your mindfulness, your meditation, things like yoga, qigong, tai chi as well. So all of these can help with this particular situation. So I hope you found this one helpful. It's a really interesting one. And as I said before, we don't tend to link how we feel with how our digestion is doing. So if you find maybe, and especially for those of you in the perimenopause, certain times of the month, if the hormones are really fluctuating, that can have quite a big impact on the level of friendly bacteria in your gut. So if you find at certain times of the month your mood is much lower, then that also may be an indication that your friendly bacteria are not particularly happy. So it's a nice one to try and look at what's going on and connect the dots. Please, if you have any tips yourself, has anything you've done in changing your diet had a big impact on how you feel, please share your stories. You know I love to read them. And have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.